Hello, everyone. Ed Thompson here. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'm with the Single Purpose Ministries. What we're about basically are connections, people to people, relationships, more deep, but people to people, and then discipleship as Christ, when he walked on this earth, manifested and displayed discipling. So we're really about those three things. Today, the e-blast talked about some things pertaining to relationships. Number one, we're going to try to answer the question as cleanly as possible. What is mankind doing on earth? Or why are we here? So that's question one. Why are we here? And then number two, we're going to read a verse that talks about spiritual fruit that lasts. And why is that different than just the apple you had for lunch today or the grapes that you plan on eating? Why is that fruit and spiritual fruit different? Well, we're going to touch on those things today. And I was just thinking, folks, as I grew up, I always wanted to know, why are we here? But I didn't know where to go find the answer, so I quit thinking about it. Most people I know in the past, maybe still, do not know why they're here. And therefore, it came about this way. When Ed Thompson turned 34 years old, I was going in a bad place and I was in a bad way. And I certainly wasn't worried about that question. But I came to the Lord that year. I came to a saving knowledge by grace through faith in Jesus Christ and got saved and born again. And surrounded I was by very spiritual men, disciple makers. And they showed me that the answers were in a big book known as the Bible. And Ed, we can go looking for answers if you would like. Well, I had a great hunger, so I liked. In other words, I was becoming a disciple, and hence I wanted to know what that book could tell me with the hard questions. So let me go ahead and say that I guess I want to set the stage with two verses. They're both in John chapter 15, and they both talk a lot about fruit. The first one is on down into the chapter, the 16th verse, that basically said, Jesus is talking to his disciples. You did not choose me. I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit. Fruit that will last. Now that's what got my attention. That's why the title of the e-blast is, What is Spiritual Fruit That Lasts? And that's one of the verses. Now to the other side. This one you've probably heard. Jesus told his disciples in the upper part or first part of John 15, he says, I am the vine. You are the branches. God is the gardener. And if you stay connected to me, then you will bear fruit. So all of a sudden, I'm getting some answers as to what spiritual fruit is. And then my mentor told me that the Holy Spirit is actually the sap in the plant that brings the nourishment, brings everything to make the fruit produce and grow. And then the branch, me, I get to bear that fruit, just like Jesus said, that you go and bear fruit. So I'm giving you a picture in an agricultural sense, but really, folks, we're going to phase into the spiritual sense of this. For instance, just the Holy Spirit thinking he's the one bringing everything to a fruitful place. Well, doesn't he do that in my life now? You bet he does. I know I can't do what he does without him. So I'm there, and I'm ready to just take it on down to what is spiritual fruit. What a great question. It's not be fruitful and multiply. That's procreation. God told us to do that. It's not animal husbandry. God said have fruitful flocks. And they knew how to do that, as well as fruitful crops. So all of that is fruitful, but that's more in a tangible state. I'm going now into an eternal place where these things, these fruit, are intangible, but they're so very real. Love. Let me just start. You probably got these 9 down pat if you know Galatians 5:22. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. A rhetorical question. Would you rather have those fruit or good apples and oranges? Well, the answer is both. We need both. But right now, folks, we're talking about things that are beyond what we can touch. What else is beyond? Righteousness. It's doing things the way God does things. Humility. And finally, holiness. I could go on, but I haven't done a good enough study to keep going. And once again, these are the kinds of fruit that we're allowed to participate in and bear from the vine and the branch that we are. And we have absolutely opportunities to leave that fruit even after we die. And I believe now we're getting to it's going to last. Let me, I'll expound on that briefly, but we're kind of hitting the runway now. We're gonna land this plane. Godly character I'm talking about, and I've mentioned the righteousness and holiness, but all of these things, I know when I experience them, my passion grows to experience more of them. Even being patient with somebody, being kind to somebody. All of those are very beneficial in my spiritual growth. Hence, spiritual fruit enhances spiritual growth. Now, here is the final word, and it's a conundrum. And I looked it up to make sure I was using it correctly. A conundrum is something that's confusing or something that has really no answer. And I'm going to leave it with you because it pertains to everything I've said. Folks, I'm getting my apple and I'm putting it here. I asked somebody to cut it open for me. And I noticed in the core are the seeds. And I thought to myself, I wonder how many seeds are in an apple. So I went ahead and Googled it because I thought I knew, but I didn't know. And the answer is between 5 and 8. Well, I didn't go there and wonder why a difference. Maybe it's different apples. I don't know. But I imagine putting 5 seeds from that core of one apple on the table. And I'm saying, from one apple, these are 5 seeds. It's a fact. But then I picked up one seed and I said, how many apples are in one seed? Now, folks, I want you to think about that. You will not come up with the answer. There is no answer. It is a conundrum, but not to God. He knows exactly when you take that seed or that fruit to be and put it out into the world, He is going to multiply it. He is going to put it in orchards here and orchards there. Trees here, trees there. Branches here, branches there. And all of this pertains to being spiritual fruit that can't be touched, but we are here to enjoy it and to give it away until He comes back. Hope I haven't confused you, folks, but I just want to say, think about it. Call me, email me, but most of all, I want to see you bear fruit that will last. Thank you all. Take care.